Draw Stuff with Roger.
Hey guys, today we're going to be using ToonSquid, and I'm going to just show you some tricks with the camera. So we're going to name our project. Here, you just tap on it and click on the keyboard. I like to use the keyboard even though I can write it in. My handwriting is kind of atrocious, so I just like to do it this way. Everybody's got their own way they like to do that, and that is totally fine. So we're going to make our scene here. And I'm just going to pick a color and just use basically from light to dark, top to bottom, and make a scene that has some depth to it. So I'm going to fill the layer, and then I'm going to just go a little bit darker. And then I'm going to kind of make two platforms on the edges. And I kind of want to make them semi-straight. And just some bumpy ground. And what I find looks really cool, and you see it in a lot of animation and other kind of stuff, is you get these little bumps here that kind of looks like snow cover or some kind of grass cover, and you fill that in, and it gives it that, like, that top. I don't know why it looks good. I can't quite place my finger on it. Maybe I played a lot of video games when I was younger, and that's why this aesthetic just appeals to me. But yeah, so sometimes I have to play around with the fill when you're doing stuff like this to get it just the way you want it. And that's okay. I'm not putting too much pressure on this picture. So I'm just trying to give you the idea of how to create some depth. And I'm going to go down, and I'm just going to move down in color and saturation and make another layer here. And it's really sometimes hard in the beginning to get these squiggles down. I know it sounds really ridiculous because you're doing something random, but for artists and for almost anybody, doing random stuff seems to be the hardest stuff, like making leaves, making trees look different, making things that in nature are so different. Our hand wants to always make them the same way because to us they're the same thing. Like a leaf is a leaf or a rock is a rock, but their variations are so great. So I'm going to add some clouds here. I've made some brushes at the bottom here. This is just a cloud brush that I made. I'm going to go over that on one tutorial with you guys coming up, probably how to create brushes. If you guys are interested, let me know. It's not too tricky. You can do it all right in the app. So I'll show you. I tend to put too much cloud, so I took some away here. And just wanted to look just right. Usually I would do this on a bunch of different layers. So the clouds would be on a standalone layer. I did not do that today just for ease of speed, because I'm just trying to show you guys really the camera aspect of this. So here's a brush that I made. And see this little, it's a weird, that with the triangle and the ball. I don't know why this pattern to me makes a nice brush, but it does. I just really enjoy it for doing sketching and for doing a lot of my line work. Have no clue why. So here I am just going to make I've been doing a lot of these characters for an upcoming book that I'm working on, and they're kind of mixed characters that are in between two different animals. So this is just a rough sketch of one of those characters. And this one's going to be a pig that is also a bat. And when I say rough, oh boy, this is a rough sketch of it. But that's okay sometimes, because right now I'm just trying to show you guys, eventually when I get to it, how the camera works. And I know some of these YouTube videos can be really long before you get to the good stuff, so I'm trying to go as fast as I can and just do a rough sketch. But then I still kind of want it to look good. So the artist in me kind of wants to go back and fix certain things and make it look a certain way. So I'm going to do that just a little bit, just to make it look a little more pleasant to the eye, or to my eye at least. I keep forgetting I'm not on multiple layers here, and that messes me right up. So, like I said, I usually do this over 5, 10, sometimes even 15 layers for characters. So to do it all in one layer is a little bit different than what I'm accustomed to, and that's not to say that it's bad. Here I'm doing kind of an orca whale cross gorilla on this side. In the book, it's a great white shark cross gorilla, but I kind of like the orca cross gorilla as well. It would be an animal you would not want to mess with. I don't know if it would be a great climber, but this is just an imaginary thing anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Well, if anybody really wants to debate whether this kind of mythical creature could make it up this mountain, I'd be open to a very non serious debate about that. So I'm just going to kind of fix up the tail and make it look a little better. It still kind of looks more like a Pokemon than anything else. If this looks like too much of a Pokemon that anybody knows, I'm sorry, I do not know all the Pokemon. Hopefully this is not anywhere close to any of them. I'm going to make him look a little menacing. Hopefully, after I fix his toe here. I'm just going to give him an arm coming to the back just to give him a little more dimension. And then I'm like, okay, why do I put that arm there? You got to give it a reason. So I'm going to, he's having a snack. So I'm going to imagine he eats maybe fish. And it's about the size of a banana. So we'll call it good. So this is the picture. We're going to just show you how the camera works. And so I am going to go here to add another layer. And I'm going to just click right on the camera. Now the camera has its own transform layer to it, and I'll show you that in a sec. I'm just going to make this out to about 50 frames, and you can see that the camera tracks along with it. So when you click on the little diamond there, you get the transform layer for the camera. It's all set right up. So you got position, rotation, and scale. And when you change those things, you just want to make make sure that you hit that button down there. That's the important part. For me, I have that shut off in the settings, so it doesn't do it automatically. When you download ToonSquid, it will have it set so it automatically makes those markers. I don't like to have it set like that. That said, a lot of times I have to do this extra step where I will start and then I go back to the first frame and I have to get that close again. But I don't mind doing it that way. So then, as you can see, when you set those, it creates keyframes and those get locked in, and then the iPad does the work of filling in the in-betweens. Now, ToonSquid does a good job of this, of grabbing all of those frames and interpolating what they're supposed to look like. Interpolating is just a fancy word for thinking about it, or the way the machine does the calculations to figure it out. And you can go into the settings and like change how fast it does, change whether it's slow in the beginning and fast at the end. There's all kinds of different ways you can change the way this looks. And even sometimes I will change it as I go. Make sure I hit that keyframe. So you can kind of change the angles. You can even spin the camera around in a circle as it's doing this. There's all kinds of complex things. Now this goes way too fast. So I'm just going to slow it down for the purposes of showing you guys. If I was actually making this animation, it would probably be about 500 frames. So, because I like to have my animations go at about 24 frames a second. You can slow them down for the purpose of showing something, but it always looks a little more gritty when you slow it down. And sometimes you want to get that look. Like when they filmed the animated Spider-Man movie, the last one, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I think it was called. They actually had some of the film running at different frames just to accentuate certain movements. For example, Spider-Man moves slower. His frames were slower at the beginning of the movie, and as he used his Spider-Man skills, the frames grew faster, so it made him look like he was moving smoother. So you can see here it kind of goes now slow in the beginning and then normal speed at the end. So there you go. So the camera moves around in the space, and if you were to render that out, it would just be what's in that box. So hopefully you guys have some fun with this. You can put some dramatic music in the background, like ba 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 ba, and all kinds of fun stuff. So hope you guys enjoy. Have a great day.